Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's me coming at you again with another vid. Well, this time David Haye had an interview with IFL today. Shout outs to them, by the way. They asked him about his take on the Canelo Alvarez and Amir Khan fight coming up, his take on the Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin fight coming up, and also his fight coming up and who his next opponent is going to be. Well, first things first, his next opponent, he didn't announce who his next opponent is going to be. However, he did announce that his fight will take place 12 weeks from now. Now, mind you, I hope it's Shannon Briggs, the Cannon. Let's go, champ! Because we all know recently that Shannon Briggs called out David Haye, and I think that would be a damn interesting fight, and I think it should get made. And again, if I had to pick a winner, I have to go to Haye because Haye is much more conditioned. He's a much more accurate fighter and a combination puncher than Shannon Briggs. Now, Shannon Briggs, mind you, he's still got technique left in him, but he's incredibly slow nowadays, and he's always had stamina issues. And I know one guy had got one commenter on my previous video when I mentioned about the David Haye Shannon Briggs call out. He blasted me for saying that I don't know shit. Fuck off. Shannon Briggs is the man. And I'm like, well, fuck, honestly, I commented back. It's like, well, fuck off too. First of all, if you don't like my critique, then you don't need to be coming on my channel and comment and curse at me like that. But, knowing me, I welcome every feedback that's possible. I don't know why. Some people suggest I should start blocking people who come at me the wrong way. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know. To me, I'm a man. I'm gonna address whoever address me the wrong way. I don't know. That's just my nature because I always believe in fighting my own battles. But it is what it is. Needless to say, he also mentioned that Amir Khan will be the victor. He'll beat Canelo Alvarez. Two reasons. One, he'll be able to absorb Canelo punches, power, and two, he'll outpoint Canelo because Khan is a very, very quick and he has very fast hands and he's an unbelievable combination puncher, which is all true. He has great footwork and he has very, very good technique. Now, as far as the punch resistance go, that's a questionable assessment at this point because Canelo Alvarez's power is not like the power of Danny Garcia's and the British Prescott's. Okay, because those guys fight at the lower weight classes, and their power is nowhere compared to Canelo Alvarez, who's a much, much bigger man, and he loads up on shots. And he has pretty decent hand speed, too, when he throws his punches, even though he's a very, very flat-footed and slowly, bad footwork type of a fighter who can't even cut off his ring. But when Canelo gets close to you, it's gonna be a problem. And he does have very good reach as well, decent reach, I should say. But of course, Khan will have the reach advantage. David Haye also mentioned that look, when Khan fought at the lower weight classes, yes, he was not able to absorb punches, so he was chinny. But the problem was he was weight drained, which I may have to agree with David Haye on that because it seems to me ever since Khan moved up to 147, he's been able to absorb punches. He's been able to take a punch very well. So, when he got hit cleanly against Chris Algieri, yes, it looked kind of like it looked like he was going to get knocked out a few times, but he was able to take those punches very well and managed to finish the fight. So, yeah. Now, as opposed to being at the lower weight classes, he was weight drained, and so he wouldn't have the proper body mass to absorb the punches. So I do agree with Dave Haye on that assessment. But again, he's going up against Canelo Alvarez. Now, being punched by Canelo Alvarez will be totally different from being punched by British Prescott and Danny Garcia, who, by the way, Khan never avenged his losses against. And not against Lamont Peterson either, even though he never got knocked out by him. But I'll be fair and impartial here. Khan actually wanted to get his rematch, and he was going to get a rematch against Lamont Peterson because that fight ended in controversy. But Lamont Peterson had failed the drug test post-fight, so that's why that fight got called off. Now, the Danny Garcia fight, he wanted the rematch as well, but Garcia's management didn't want that. Mind you, I guess given the fact that, stemming from the fact that Garcia got lucky, he did get lucky in that Khan fight because Garcia was behind on the cards. He was getting outboxed not saying badly, but he was cleanly getting outboxed by Khan in that fight until he got lucky with that left hook and then finished him off with the right to get Khan out of there, to capture his title, become the unified champion. So it is what it is right there. So David Haye, well, the bottom line is David Haye said that Amir Khan is going to win this fight. He's going to beat Canelo on the points because he feels that Canelo is not going to be able to keep up with Khan's speed. He won't be able to cut off the ring against him, which I do agree with David Haye on that one. I don't think Canelo's going to be able to cut off the ring against Khan because Khan will be moving all over the place. However, Khan will get tired sometimes. I mean, he does have stamina, but he could tire himself just a little bit. And that will give Canelo a chance to come in and stalk him and hit him with some powerful shots. Now, the one thing I disagree with David Haye about also is the fact that outpointing Canelo is going to give you the fight. I totally disagree with that assessment because Canelo Alvarez has known to be getting gift decisions when it comes to fights going the distance. It all goes back to the Austin Trout fight when he got that gift decision. Well, I felt that Trout won that fight, if you ask me. All right, some people felt that he won it. When he also got a gift of a draw against Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd won that fight by a majority decision, and that draw came from C.J. Ross, which is unbelievably disgraced. And even though that some people felt that Canelo had a chance in that fight, including myself, even though Floyd was the heavy favorite. I'm not saying he was a heavy favorite; he was the slight favorite to win it. But I would say that Canelo lost that fight by a mile. Clearly lost that fight. And for C.J. Ross to score that fight as a draw was totally ludicrous, and I have to say that again. All right? And then he had a controversial win against Erislandy Lara. Some people felt that Lara won that fight. He also had a controversial win against Miguel Cotto, and I felt that Miguel Cotto won that fight 8 rounds to 4. I felt that he won that fight. So, yeah, outpointing Canelo ain't going to get the job done. Khan's going to have to knock this guy out, or Canelo's going to have to quit. One way or the other. Outpointing him, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So David Haye is totally wrong in his assessment there about the fight. Now, he also mentioned too, given the fact that look, when I fought at cruiserweight, I wasn't able to take punches that well because I was pretty much weight trained. But when I moved up in weight, when I moved with the heavyweights, I was able to absorb punches much better. I mean, Volleyball wasn't able to knock me out. Vladimir Klitschko wasn't able to knock me out. But let's be fair here. Volleyball wasn't able to hit David Haye because Volleyball was an incredibly slow, painfully slow fighter at that time. Okay, you could easily outbox him and fight him in angles. So, as far as Vladimir Klitschko, yeah, he may have a point there, but David Haye is a very elusive fighter, and he's very, very good defensively. So, yeah, he may have a point there because he only got stopped once in his career, and that was at cruiserweight. Now, his assessment on the Charles Martin and Anthony Joshua fight. He said, look, Anthony Joshua has the tools. He is an Olympian, a gold medalist. He's fought very good he's fought some good opposition as a prospect, naming Dillian White and perhaps Gary Cornish. But, so he has the goods to win the fight against Charles Martin. He did concede to the fact that he doesn't really know much about Charles Martin. He said, look, from what I've heard, this is paraphrasing on quote. He said, look, I've heard, the gym stories that Charles Martin has got the best of everybody, even the best fighters and some of the good fighters in sparring session. He's got the best of them. That's what I've heard. But looking at his opposition, he's fighting peanuts. This is only paraphrasing. This is what David Haye said. He's fighting peanuts. And he won that title against Glasgow. Glasgow basically blew out his knee, and that's how he won the title. So, bottom line, he's saying that, look, I don't give Charles Martin a chance to win this fight. But you never say never because we haven't seen what Martin can really do. So, don't count Martin out here, okay? I expect him to lose this fight as well. But we know this is the heavyweights. Anything can happen, But, we all know that David Haye has really been mouthing off lately about trying to get a fight with Charles Martin. And honestly, I don't think he cares about winning that fight. I think he cares more about getting that final payday. And I guarantee you this, because he hasn't been calling anybody else out lately. He's only been targeting Anthony Joshua. He has mentioned Tyson Fury a few times, but he's kind of backed off on that. So, yeah, there it is. Let me know what you think. Care to comment, share, subscribe. Signing off. Peace.